I want to call on my friend Dan Schatzman to be part of this program. He's the CEO of SpaceFund. And so Dan, can you help me inspire this group of great leaders to come alongside and be part of the movement?
I think your expectation is too high. So SpaceFund is a venture capital firm out of Houston, Texas. I happen to live here in New Mexico because I have a small manufacturing company that actually does a lot of work for space called Jaguar Precision Machine. We helped build the Mars Rover. We have a satellite that's launching September 4th, etc. So I'm involved in both very heavily. I would like to say this. I was with a person that was an Air Force Research Labs leader, and he said the big problem that they have in New Mexico is everybody on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. knows that New Mexico is the center for deep space development, bar none, around the world. Nobody in New Mexico knows it. And getting that message out has been very difficult. People think about Texas when they think about the Space Valley, which is a phrase that was coined by a number of us, probably 7 years ago, 5 years ago. The Space Valley kind of starts in Texas, and everybody knows about, SpaceX is launching in southern Texas. You have Blue Origin, but you have legacy space in Texas as well with NASA, et cetera. So you have launch and legacy space. Then you come up to New Mexico, you have Spaceport America, White Sands Missile Range. Johnson Space Center is also there. You have, Air Force Research Labs, Kirtland Air Force Base coming up a little bit further. Air Force Research Labs is the lab for the Space Force. Then you have Sandia Labs and Los Alamos Labs. All of them have very large space research and development programs. That's the key here, research and development programs. And then you get up to Colorado and you're in the operations area. A lot of operations are happening in Colorado. So when you have research and development, that means you have startups. And so when you look at the Space Valley, what you really need to be thinking of is how is it that Silicon Valley was able to grow so quickly? The space industry, in my humble opinion, is growing between 7 and 20% on a compounded annual growth rate each year. That's a CAGR you don't see anywhere else in any other industry. And I think it's much closer to 20%. So when you have that compounded annual growth rate and you have the research and development, the startups here in New Mexico, a majority of those in Albuquerque, I could actually count 10 more companies than were shown here today. And so it's just incredible the opportunity we have. It's incredible the amount of money that's spent in the New Mexico area. According to our studies, there's about $40 billion spent every year in DOD and DOE expenditures here in New Mexico. That's just incredible. So we have this huge resource, we have all these things happening, and again, nobody in New Mexico seems to know it. So I'm very proud to be part of the New Mexico ecosystem, and I can tell you SpaceFund wants to work with Casey's group at New Space Nexus and try to help them develop this. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you.